Call of Duty 2021 is apparently going to be named Call of Duty World War II Vanguard. Christ. Listen, I'm not frustrated. I'm bamboozled. I'm very bamboozled because this isn't what I expected it would be. I honestly thought that they would either go very far in the future, probably like Advanced Warfare, or they would stay in World War II, which they kind of have. Apparently, this game is going to be in like the 1950s, so this is the imagination of like that we lost World War II, or somehow World War II carried on to the 1950s. And this seems very much like Man in a High Castle sort of style, where it's some reason World War II just carried on, or Wolfenstein. There's also another game called Turning Point Fall Liberty. If you do want to play it, it's going to cost you a grand like $100, or you just buy it from Japan. But as bamboozled as I might be, I'm actually also sort of interested, because the idea of us losing World War II and it carrying on into like the 1950s is interesting. There's a lot of room for storytelling there, and what they could possibly do with different weapons and little locations and whatever is very interesting to the imagination. So I also have a lot of trust in Sledgehammer games. I know a lot of people don't, and they think they suck, but I have a lot of trust in them because of the past games that they've made. I think they were very community-driven games. Like Advanced Warfare was a very community-driven game. World War II was a very community-driven game. Like, they were things that people wanted, and that I think they succeeded very, very well at, even though they had some massive backlash. No matter what, I think it doesn't matter. This community has no idea what they actually want in the end. They all bitch and complain. I'm also a part of this, so don't think... I'm not saying I'm, like, hands-off and I'm the perfect child of this. I'm probably, like, the biggest example of a typical Call of Duty player who just bitches and has no idea what they want. But when we got Call of Duty World War II, I adored that game, and I cherished that game like it was a child of mine. Because it was everything that I wanted. It was a good combination, a good balance between the new Call of Duty and the old Call of Duty, and I put so much time into that game. It's something that I can't even do now. Like, the current Call of Duties, Modern Warfare and Black Ops Cold War, if I had to pick one or the other, I would say Modern Warfare is the better one, and that's barely. And I would also imagine that at the time, they were very different games. Like, the games that they were trying to make back then, they were trying to appease the community, and they, yes, I think did a better job at least trying to listen to the community. They literally rehauled the entire game, like, to all of its mechanics, just so that the community wouldn't hate them anymore, and people still hated them. But then you have these games that come out and people adore them, and while I do think Modern Warfare in hindsight was a better game, and it actually was a very good game for what it was worth, I still think there was very many flaws in that game, especially Cold War. But I think this also comes down to the other point, and while I do trust Sledgehammer Games, I don't trust Activision. I think Activision is trying very hard to dip their toes, or their hand, very deeply into the Call of Duty franchise nowadays. It's very similar to how Warner Brothers, if you follow the DC universe at all, and how Zack Snyder had his entire movie just come out, I think that's very similar to what's happening, is that they have lost a lot of trust in their own companies, or as in Warner Brothers, their directors, and are just very much dipping their toes right into projects and telling them what to do. And it's very stupid, because like, they should honestly let it come down to the creative teams leading these projects. And instead of making it very microtransaction heavy, which is what they've done in the past few games, they should also maybe get them more community driven, and like similar to how Rainbow Six or very many other games, or like Grand Theft Auto, I don't know, pick a game and you're not probably wrong, that have very good community driven sort of multiplayers or online services. And I know this might be tough for an Activision CEO, bigwig, fat cat suit man to hear, but it's something they need to do. You need to listen to this community at this point. If you're going to go into Call of Duty World War II Vanguard, which I think is a really stupid name, just as dumb as Infinite Warfare, that you need to start listening to this community. If you want it to succeed, you need to listen to the community. And at some point, I would like to make a video basically stating what I would like to see. Now, again, we don't know what this game is going to look like. We're only going off rumors. This could literally not be even accurate at all. It could be like Infinite Warfare Advanced or something stupid. Who knows? Like, there are so many possibilities here. But what I would like to see is, again, just transparency from a community perspective. Not a community perspective, just from a development team perspective, telling us what they're going to be doing in this game, and like to every step. And they haven't done it yet with Black Ops. They just released like the Reloaded whole roadmap thing, and it still to me is not clear enough as to what they're doing. Like, I would love nothing more to have, like, instead of having like a Call of Duty XP, for instance, or like they had a Call of Duty event years ago. I forgot what it was for. I think it was for Call of Duty Ghosts. Something similar to that would be very nice. That way we're not like sitting here scratching our heads and then screaming on the internet, because that's what some people do sometimes, especially when they're very passionate. They like to make videos about things and say, this development team sucks, or other things. But in the other case of that, it's just because they care about the game and they want it to be very good, especially when they've seen what the development teams can do. But before I go and Reddit and like scream type, I think that's what it's called when you do it in all capitals. I don't know what you guys call it these days. I still don't understand the whole like bet thing. That's still stupid to me. I want to leave you with this little thing, and I want you to at least think about it, and then let me know in the comment section what you think. Is I said this at the beginning of the video, is that it could be very interesting. We don't know what this game is going to be. The 1950s era, especially something where we lose World War II, could be very interesting. The story, the possibility for storytelling is there. I think the multiplayer will be fine. I do trust what they can do. Apparently it's going to be in like the IW engine, the one they use for Modern Warfare, so that way it doesn't look like a goddamn cartoon, kind of like what Cold War looks like. So, again, let's just give it a chance. Who knows? I mean, I'll make my criticisms, and I'll still make my list of things that I want to see in the game. But I hope they show us stuff early enough. I don't want it to be like in August again, and then we get like a beta like a month later or a week later, and all of a sudden it's too close to the release, and then they can't patch anything. I think that's where Black Ops Cold War got completely screwed. But I'd like to know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you think of Call of Duty Cold War, Black Ops, World War II, Modern Warfare, Vanguard, or whatever the hell it's called? I do want to hear what you think of this title, and do you think it's going to be anything interesting, especially with it being in the 1950s and possibly a continued World War II? What things do you want to see in the game? Let me know in the comment section. Until next time, though, when we finally talk about GTA, because I have that video finally in mind. All right, bye.